Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Along with David Pratt in Vancouver, I'm Corey Warren in Toronto. Thanks for joining us. And David, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final had the Devils trying to prove that they are simply the best.
Yeah, we start with the Power Bar playoff report. This year in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the New Jersey Devils have put on one of the best road shows since, well, Tina Turner. The Devils had won 8 of their first 10 games on the road, and as a result, they were up 2-1 against Dallas. On Monday, they were looking for an encore. Jamie Langenbrunner had not played since Game 5 of the Western Conference Final. In the warm-up, he runs into Joe Nieuwendyk. Now, for the record, Nieuwendyk had not scored since that game. In the first period, Mike Keane walks in, makes a great move to get by Scott Stevens. He throws it out front. It comes right to Brendan Morrow, but Martin Brodeur there to make the save. And then he stops Mike Modano on the rebound. It was still scoreless. The Stars keep it coming. Brett Hull was in a crowd, but he gets it ahead to Modano, and he was in all alone on Brodeur. But he runs out of room and just goes flying. Later in the period, the Devils get it back to the point. Stevens will take the shot. John Madden was turned away on the rebound. Then watch this. He gets a real good two-hander from Dave Manson. Ouch. Manson was given 2 minutes for slashing. No kidding. On the power play, Vladimir Malakhov takes the shot from the point. From the scramble, Randy McKay chips it just wide. No damage done. In the second period, it was a rough game even for the Zebras. Kerry Fraser gets caught between Matt Machek and Elias. Hello. And the hits just keep on coming. Mike Keane nails Ken Danico. He was called for boarding. And just after the penalty expired, Sikora will get it in front to Patrick Elias. He rings it off the post. It was still scoreless. Later in the period, things got nasty. Malakhov gets 2 for cross-checking. And on the power play, Daryl Sador will take the shot from the point. Joe Nieuwendyk in the right place at the right time. It was 1-0 by the Stars. It is the first goal in 6 games for Nieuwendyk. In the third period, Alexander McGillney takes it across the blue line. Then he gets it over to Malakhov. Watch this as he walks in and then centers it back to McGillney. The shot is stopped, but Sergei Brylin there to put it home. The Devils answer back. The game was all tied up at 1. Now check this out. Colin White and Kurt Muller got their sticks up. White got 2 for interference. Somebody call a lawyer. Short-handed, the Devils break out. John Madden on a 2-on-1, and he fires it home. That's his 3rd of the playoffs, and it was 2-1 for the Devils. And New Jersey just keeps it coming. Brian Rafalski has a great burst of speed here. He blows by Sergei Zubov, buries it. 3 goals in 6 minutes and 8 seconds of the third period, made it 3-1 for the Devils. Then Dallas showed its frustration. First, it's Sim with a big slash on Brylin. Then Darian Hatcher punches Jason Arnott in the face. Arnott was shaken up on the play. He had to leave the game, but the Devils win it 3-1. They now lead the series 3-1. This is the first time the Stars have allowed 3 or more goals in the last 14 home playoff games. New Jersey's rookie trio of John Madden, Ryan Rafalski, and Scott Gomez have combined for 9 goals and 16 assists in the playoffs. Jason Arnott is expected to play in Game 5 on Thursday. And with more, here's Paul Romanek.
Alrighty, thank you very much. It was a dramatic game, the most dramatic so far in the Stanley Cup Final. Dallas threw everything they had in the first 2 periods at New Jersey, and really, in the grand scheme of things, didn't have all that much to show for it. Just a 1-0 lead heading into the third, and then New Jersey turning things around incredibly in the final period with 3 unanswered goals, and Ken Hitchcock stating the obvious afterwards.
They got a great team. I'm not taking anything away from them, but we got our heart ripped out from us a little bit today. We went from quite a high to quite a low. I thought just, like I said before, when you play as well as we did for 40 minutes, I thought the second period of hockey was about as gritty, as intense a period as you're going to see in any playoff game by both teams. Both teams were fighting for their lives in that period. I thought we held up pretty well. And then to come and give it away that quickly, you know, they made 2 or 3 good plays there.
The Brylin goal was huge. I mean, anytime you fall 1-0 behind Dallas, you know it's going to be tough to come back, even a 1-goal lead. But we were very calm in between periods, in between the second and third. The guys were calm and said, "Listen, we need 1 anyway. We needed 1 to win, so now we need 1 to tie." When he got that, it was a big lift, and then the shorthanded goal by John Madden was just huge.
We really don't know what really happened. I think we felt like we played a great 40 minutes and put ourselves in a great position to win the game. You know, again, I think it's things that we're doing that are hurting ourselves in the end. Our decisions with and without the puck. You know, getting caught on the odd pinches here and there, allowing too many outnumbered situations. Obviously, that shorthander was a real breaker, but just missing checks here and there, and just little things that have eventually ended up in our net.
Played well in the first period, played well in the second, and, gave them 3 goals. If you look at the goals, I think they weren't, from their great play, it was from our mistakes. So, once again, we're having, not playing well for 60 minutes and, playing well for 40 and 45.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep the next couple of nights. I wish we were playing tomorrow so we can get this thing going. And, I mean, by no means is this thing over. We still have to win a game. And when a team's fighting for their lives, it's going to be tough to do.
Think about the game and forget about who's coming in for the game and what if it's going to be the closing game. You really have to focus on nothing else but that first shift, that game, and that's it. Put everything, put everything away and deal with it when it's all over and done. And we got nothing yet. They're a team that's got a lot of character, a lot of depth, and we got to make sure we're prepared, and we will.
Joining me now, Bob McKenzie. And boy, when you look back to 1 year ago, I know something that you've mentioned in discussions we've had. It's the attention to detail that often is the difference between a championship team and a team that almost makes it. And Dallas lacking in that attention in a couple of areas this time around.
No question about that. The Stars were so tuned in their attention to detail last year. This year, that shorthanded goal by John Madden that turned out to be the game winner in this one was the 4th shorthanded goal that the Stars have given up in these playoffs. That's a league high amongst all the playoff teams. And it works out to an average of 1 shorthanded goal against per series. And those are the kind of breakdowns the Dallas Stars weren't having a year ago and what's happening to this team now. And one of the reasons they find themselves down 3-1.
And a couple of guys struggling out there for Dallas, in particular, Sador and Zubov.
Well, you have to keep it a little bit in perspective. Only Scott Stevens played more minutes than Sergei Zubov tonight. Stevens was over 27 minutes, Zubov over 26 minutes. But Zubov was a -2 on the night. And you can take the NHL stats that they do, the newfangled stats, with a grain of salt. But they do have him listed as 6 giveaways, which was a high of any player on the ice tonight. And there's no question Zubov's game is not where it needs to be for this team. Darian Hatcher and Richard Matvechuk haven't looked as solid as they have in the past. They've been looking for Zubov to step it up a little bit, and he was on for that first goal against the Breland goal, and it was Brian Rafalski who just reeled around Zubov on that play, although in fairness, it was a veteran Guy Carbonneau who had the neutral zone turnover that allowed Rafalski to turn it back for the goal.
Youth was served would be a good catchphrase for this game. You look at the big goals, of course, for the New Jersey Devils. Of course, you had Breland scoring one of the goals. He turned one of the fine young players. John Madden scoring the winning goal, a shorthanded marker. It was youth that was served, and Scott Gomez, a big part of that. Rafalski also with his goal. Gomez had a chance, although he didn't score in this game, to gloat just a little bit about an outstanding performance for the team. He talked with Gord Miller afterwards.
All right, kid, tell me you're getting any sleep in the next couple of days.
I don't know. I mean, it's it's good we got the older guys on the team because they're they keep you a little down. I mean, right now I don't know even what to think. I mean, one went away, but the team over there is so good that it still feels like it's so far away.
All right, they're up 1-0 after 2 periods. You guys have been held without a shot for a long time. Was there frustration? How would you describe the team's move?
To come in the locker room, it actually wasn't. I mean, we had a couple chances there at the end of that period that we built off, and me, Alex, and Sarge just sat there and said, "Hey, we're due. I mean, someone's got to get one. I mean, this is enough." And we just kept to the game plan. No one really got nervous. I forgot who said it, but someone said, to win the game we need a goal anyway. So now we just got to tie it. So it was pretty loose in there, and it just shows the character and the leadership we got.
I guess the point would be the penalty killing was so good, but also what happened tonight was the guys who hadn't scored for the Devils did. And we talked about this with you in the morning, that you needed somebody other than Arnottsline to score.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were playing with fire there for a while. It's part of the game, but we're really confident with our penalty kill. And, yeah, that was the key. We needed to put pressure off Arnie's line, and, we got it. It's always been a team effort, and today it really was.
How worried are you about Jason Arnott?
Well, he's my roommate, so I get to call the shots for at least the night. But he'll be all right. He's a tough guy. I mean, we need him, so he'll be all right.
All right. Good luck. Get some sleep, will you?
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Was just talking with Patrick about this. You watched the first couple of periods, and they threw everything at you, everything they had. And for them, I would think it must have been a little demoralizing to throw all that at you, not have much to show, and then have you guys just turn it on in the third period.
Well, I think we expected that tonight, that they were going to come out with all cylinders firing, and We felt we were playing pretty well ourselves. We had some great scoring opportunities even before the late Nieuwendyk goal in the second period. Belfour made some huge saves, and we thought it was a pretty evenly played game up till then. So going into the third period, we weren't demoralized. The guys were relaxed and dressed and said, listen, let's approach it like we need 1 goal to tie instead of 1 to win right now. And everybody came out and played extremely hard in the third.
I talked to you earlier in the series about having to turn the other cheek from the face washes and things like that, the discipline. Looked as though that slipped away just a little bit in the early stages of this game.
It did, and that's something we have to focus on. I think it happened in both games here, and we're fortunate that it didn't come back to haunt us. But that was the only thing Larry was disappointed in between periods. He said, boys, we gotta bite our tongues. You know, this is just too important. He says, if winning wasn't a sacrifice, then I wouldn't say nothing. But we took some bad penalties, but fortunately enough, everybody made up for them. You know, Malakoff, I know, was a little bit down after that late second period penalty, but he came out in the third and made a great play for the first goal to get us going.
Okay, so you've been there before in the sense that, of course, you've won a Stanley Cup, but 1 win away. You know what the feeling is. Do you think there's a bit of an onus on somebody with your experience to sort of transfer that to some of the younger guys? Because I would think it's got to be so tough not to let off just a little bit.
Well, everybody knows you get nothing for 3 wins, and the guys in this locker room have won before.
Do they really know that, though, the young guys?
Well, I mean, obviously we're going to preach that in the next couple of days, that's for sure, with, you know, Scotty Stevens, myself, Lemieux, the McKays, guys that have been there before. We're going to say, listen, you win nothing for 3 games, and hey, it was evident last series. I hope we learned that by playing Philadelphia. We were the team that came back from a 3-1 deficit, so we're going to try to leave nothing to chance and get a win Thursday in Jersey.
Thanks for your time.
No problem. My pleasure.
A dramatic turn of events in the third period. 3-1 the final score. 1 more win is all the Devils need. We have more post-game reaction for you, but right now let's send you back to Sports Desk.
Thanks, Paul. The Calgary Flames have also had their eyes on Dallas lately, but for a different reason. The Flames have called a news conference for noon Eastern, at which time they'll name Stars Director of Player Personnel Craig Button as the new GM. Button will report directly to President Ron Bremner. As for Lanny McDonald, it now looks as if though he'll remain as the VP of Corporate Development, although he will get a chance to talk to Button about a job on the hockey side. You can also forget about the rumors of Roger Nielsen becoming Calgary's head coach. He is not being considered for that position.
Elsewhere on Monday, Bobby Clark spoke to the media for the first time since the Flyers were eliminated from the playoffs. And once again, Eric Lindros was the topic. Clark says the Flyers will make the $8.5 million qualifying offer to retain Lindros' rights, but his comments don't seem to guarantee Eric a spot in the lineup. Clark says, and I quote, if he comes back, he can't have his dad calling us. If he comes back, it's going to be as his own self. We don't want his mom and dad. We've had enough of them. Clark then went on to say again, and I quote, I think we'll call around to see who's interested in Eric. We're going to make the qualifying offer. Who knows what happens after that? Well, still to come on the show, Boomer goes looking for win number 10 in Atlanta against the Braves.
While the Expos look to turn the tables on the Bronx Bombers at the Big O.
And the heat was on Alex Tagliani at the Miller Lite 225. Highlights when we come back.